Hello, Quack and Duck here, and today I'm going to talk about one of the best indie shows on YouTube, Murder Drones. Murder Drones is one of the best shows I have ever seen when it comes to 3D animation. It is truly a work of art that brings a tear to my eye, and I have been there since the very beginning of its announcement. And at the time, I didn't really think much of it, mostly because I loved MetaRunner, the first true indie show on YouTube with a massive success. But I want to talk about MetaRunner in a separate video. Murder Drones was just amazing on its pilot alone, with it gathering around 5 to 10 million views upon release. Today it stands at 51 million views, which is impressive. It's no digital circus when it comes to views, but I like Murder Drones more because it has better visuals and storytelling, in my opinion. And personally, it beats everything on Glitch Productions. The show has amazing characters, and the characters are what I'm going to talk about first. I loved every character in this show. I have almost no criticisms about any of the characters. Even side characters I really loved. They all help tell the story of Murder Drones in such a way that makes the viewer hooked. But for the sake of the video being short, I'll only talk about a few characters. Starting with N. N was a character that really stuck out to me. He was funny and charming, and he seemed very nice. And upon seeing him, he immediately became my favorite character in the whole show. He can easily beat every character in a tier list. N's voice actor was also amazing. Michael Kovac, a household name at this point, plays this jewel of a character. And side note, I wasn't aware of all the characters he plays in various shows, like The Old Hasman Hotel, Lackadaisy, and Digital Circus. Basically, he's the Chris Pratt of indie animation. If it's famous, it's because of him. But now moving on to the polar opposite of N, J. J's admittedly kinda a character that should have stayed dead. I'm only saying that because she gets so sidelined that Luna from Hell of a Boss has a bigger impact than her. Maybe nah, but you get my point. She is just a forgotten character. The only time where she's relevant to the plot was in episode 1 and in episode 8. All the other times she was gone or didn't say a word. But other than that, she was a pretty cool character when it comes to her design and personality. Now I know she's the character with the worst personality in the show, but I find it fitting. She's supposed to be this character that is loyal to the company and has to be harsh. This character design even represents that. But other than that, that's it. I can't really talk more about her, mostly because of her absence in the series. But moving on to Uzi. Wrong Uzi. This Uzi. Uzi is another jewel in this show, and goes from a semi-basic character to a character that's very fleshed out, with her own identity that she builds upon herself. From this angsty, rebellious teenage girl to a girl that made peace on the planet she lives on, stopping a robo-god, and having powers that'll make you think twice about fighting her in the school hallways. She the second best character in the show by far, and although she can be a bit crazy at times, it fits her for the person she is. And I find it kind of funny that she's shy about liking N, but if you already know already, they're dating, and I find it really cute. It's heartwarming. Now for the character I also really liked, and it shouldn't be a shocker, Sin. Sin is by far the most convincing and legit horror character I've ever seen in an indie show, but she's also very funny, in a very sadistic way. She surprised me when she took off Tessa's suit, and seeing her in Tessa's skin was the most metal thing and coolest thing I've ever saw. But it was also the most disturbing thing I've ever seen coming from an indie show. Like, tell me that this isn't disturbing, but cool. Also, in the most disturbing and uncanny way, she's actually kinda cute in some scenes. I think what really cements her as a character is her voice. Her voice is just so unhuman and actually sounds like a robot. It's actually kinda cool. Now moving on to another fan favorite of the show that I also really liked, V. V was also a great character, but originally I didn't really care for her because she was just in episode 1 and non-existent in episode 2. I only started liking her mid-episode 3 and beyond, until we thought she died for about a year. But shown back in episode 8. Now I knew she would come back one way or another. Like, come on. She's one of the fan favorites in the show. I also really liked how her voice actor did. But those were all the characters I really wanted to talk about. All the other characters are just side characters. And I don't want to talk about the real Tessa because she's only in one episode. I kinda wish we could see her before Sin killed her and used her skin as a suit. But now we are truly at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to reveling characters. So with that moves us on to the next chapter I really want to talk about, and that's the plot/writing. The writing was great in my opinion. A few hiccups here and there, but overall great. A story about robots being the only living things left in the solar system after the planet they live on kinda blew up. But it's a very interesting choice. Not only that humans are absent, but they are technically the only things left with conscience. Until the murder drones arrived. But because of that, it made the plot of the show really kick off. And Uzi wanting to stop the murder drones at first made it look like a straightforward plot, but after she met N, her plans changed, and after that, the plot just got more exciting, yet confusing. Like Jay kinda coming back, a prom, a flashback memory, and so on and so forth. It just laid out the building blocks for an amazing story, and Liam Vickers did an amazing part on his end. I hope he works with Glitch Productions again sometime, because he's a great writer, and I don't know how he did it. Now for the bonus section, the visuals. So on this channel I talked about how, Hazbin Hotel and Hellobots visuals were, and they were on top when it came to 2D animation, but nothing can beat the quality and 3D animation of Murder Drones. Like, come on, the fight scenes in episodes 7 and 8 are amazing. Man, I actually think when it comes to animation as a whole, Murder Drones is on top. The Digital Circus is amazingly animated itself, but it really doesn't speak to me as much as how Murder Drones did. Like, just the quality is top notch alone. Every little scene is screenshot worthy, especially in episode 8, but this show overall was 3D animation done right. Now I know I'm praising this show way too hard, but it was all for a good reason. I'm really going to miss this jewel of an indie animation. It really paved the way for more indie animation to come out. It also can really show that if you put enough work and time into something, that you can do anything. And you have to have respect for that, even if it's indie shows you don't like. Because every little piece of indie animation can pave the way for a more better and inspired project to appear. And personally, they should give more credit than they deserve. Like Ed's World or Spooky Month. And one last thing. 2D animation and 3D animation brought a massive load of art styles and storytelling to the table, and if done correctly, you can end up like Hazbin Hotel or Murder Drones. With all that work put into these projects, it's no wonder why people like indie animation so much. And I bet major companies are looking at these animations and are impressed at what they see. Money-wise, anyway. This really shows how well indie animation has come as a whole, to the point where major companies like Amazon Prime want to get their hands on it. But I'm going to stop here talking about all that, as many channels have already pointed out how indie animation is the new hot meta. But to recap on what I just said, Murder Drones is just an amazing show because of its complex characters and storytelling. and also because of its amazing quality. And I bet there will be more shows like Murder Drones in the future. And I bet indie companies like Glitch Productions will lead the way to making it a reality. Anyway, that was all I had for today's video. And if you made it this far to the end, thank you. I'm almost to my goal of 100 subscribers, so if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. But as always, have a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and I hope you tune in for me next time.